you have had the findings. We want to hear from you.
What you, not what we, but what you, the panelists, and everyone here, what you consider youthhood. What is youthhood? Who is a youth in Nigeria? And I'm going to be passing the mic to you guys to answer who is a youth. What do you consider a youth, or what is the experience of youthhood in Nigeria? Thank you.
I'm tempted to say praise the Lord. Good morning, everybody. Please, Ayomide Adufe. Okay, it was a queen. All right, to answer that question, when I saw 15 to 40-year-old, maybe not, I would think maybe maximum 35, thereabout. I think 15 is still not the correct age for me. I would say maybe 18 to 35.
Good afternoon. I'm Tayo Adekunle from the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs. I also think that the conceptual clarification for who a youth is did not take into cognizance the instruments that define who a youth is in Nigeria. First, the federal government of Nigeria Youth Policy of 2018. Incidentally, I was part of the review committee, and I recall that we put the youth age then between 18 to 29. But the challenge that we have is that Nigeria is also a party to certain international conventions. And the African Union Youth Charter defines a youth as somebody between the ages of 18 to 35. And Nigeria, being a dualist state, has ratified that African Union Charter. So it's more or less like an act of the National Assembly. So we have a controversy whether we should go by the definition of what is in the Youth Charter or in our youth policy or the African Youth Charter. So I think that the African Union Youth Charter should take precedence over and above the policy, because the African Youth Charter, having been domesticated, ratified and passed into law by the National Assembly and signed by the President, it becomes part of our municipal laws, and so that says 18 to 35. Also, when we were leading the advocacy on not too young to run, I was in the youth parliament at that time. What we did essentially was to put the youth age between 25 to 35. We sought to reduce the age to contest for House of Assembly from 30 to 25, and for President, which is the highest office, from 40 to 35. So we can, if we look at all of these things all together, we can say that perhaps the takeaway would be that we should put that youth age between 18 to 35. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Oluwaseun Godin. I work with an NGO, Mental Health. Judging by what my fellow panelists have said, I will say it seems because we are party to the United Nations, Nigeria is a signatory. So that takes precedence over some of our own assertions. So according to the United Nations, a youth is somebody between the age of 18 and 35. And because the world is also a global village, we cannot self-isolate. So that's our definition of who the youth is. For me, it stands between that 18 and 35. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Azim Salako from the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs. I think I will also align with the thoughts of other colleagues who have spoken, especially my colleague from the NRA. At the Institute of International Affairs, we are always duty bound to recognize provisions of the international law. And because the control variable and the context within which we are discussing today is Africa and not Nigeria. So we need to appeal to relevant protocol and statutes of the African Union. And just as my colleague asserted earlier, the definition of youth, the clarification of who a youth is person between the age of 18 and 35. And that will also be my own opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Oluwatoyin Adeyemi Okekino. I am a women empowerment advocate. I'm a civil servant, but I will not mention the organization because I'm not sitting here representing the organization. So I'll start by saying that I agree with, okay, I don't totally agree. We can say that somebody is 40 years old. We can agree that person is a youth, because if I maybe not in this gathering, but if you go outside there, let's be realistic now. Let's forget what the United Nations because I know this is research. And when you go out and ask people questions, they're not going to talk from the books. They're going to tell you their reality. A 40-something-year-old person will tell you that I'm a young person. The other time when the minister for youth was how old was that man? No, not that. The first minister was that President Tinubu announced.
Oh,
Was now trying to remind me, it was 2 years. So this is research. So it's not about what you say per se. It's about what people say they have. So if I'm 40-something years old and I say I'm a young person, I'm a youth. So who are you to say that? Okay.
Let me interrupt. What you're saying in essence is that youthhood is more than a biological thing.
Yeah.
There are other things attached to youthhood. Since you brought that up, can you give us, your perception about this before we move on?
Okay, so maybe I should just give my own age range from 18 to 40 years old. Anything above that, I think they're just probably stuck in age like Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. So from the findings we presented to you, because this is a validation exercise. So now we presented our findings, and we now are looking up to you aspirations and perspective on success. And we want to hear what you guys consider aspirations. What are aspirations? What are aspirations? What do you guys consider success? That is what we want to hear from you. We want to know whether when we went out and we're bringing it to you, do they align? Are they the same things? Thank you.
Okay, for me, I run a business. I'm a hairstylist. I have my own business. And success, or what I would aspire, or what my aspiration right now is having a successful business. One that is globally recognized, one that can pay my bills. So really, looking at everything that was said during the research, is like, that is the truth. Every single person here everybody wants to be financially stable, be able to impact as much as possible, but that of impact has to do with money. You want to be able to fund whatever impact you want to be impacting. So I think at the end of the day, this, my aspiration is just have a lot of money to be able to do everything that I want to do, to be able to impact all the lives I want to be able to train people for free, to do this and that, make a difference. But you need money to actually make that difference. So yes, let's have the money.
Thank you. Okay.
Money on my mind. Money. Okay, thank you very much. I also think that money is very, very essential, but we must place particular emphasis on clean and legitimate money, because yes, there's a lot of filthy lucre, in the country, but it's a subjective thing. So about success generally, success is subjective. What it brings to Taye will certainly be different from Kane and Ido and so on and so forth. So when I was growing up, I had always wanted to be one or two things. I wanted to either be a lawyer or a diplomat or both. And so the vicissitudes of life then took me, when you write down, you don't get admissions, then you travel, you are initially heading to Ibadan from Lagos. Then you first go to Abeokuta, you go to Ekiti. So I've traveled that route, but I'm eventually almost going to better to my destination very soon. So success is very fluid, but what I say to people is that as much as your definition of success might be very clear to you, or you have where you want to go, sometimes you may branch at other destinations. And so when you branch at those destinations, don't lose focus of where you are headed. So in the findings, I noticed that also in the clarification, we did not place emphasis on people who belong to our sisters here, people who are business-minded. I saw things like politically agile, intelligent communication. But truthfully, that is what a lot of young people do now. Politics is the in thing for most of us. Because of course we have seen people who slept yesterday in one-bedroom apartment at Agbo and have suddenly become landlords at someone in 2 weeks time. So everybody wants to do politics. So, but as for money, yes, you need a reasonable amount of money to live a decent and comfortable life. So, money is a sine qua non, and I'm happy that the report has factored that in. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Aspirations. Aspirations do change from time to time depending on the context and the situation one finds itself. And as our physics are different, so are aspirations also. So I said, growing up, just like my brother said, I wanted to be two things. Either to be a lawyer or to be an accountant. But unfortunately, some things happened. And instead of me sucking, I decided to go another route. Eventually, I ended up studying English for my first degree. And after working for a few years, I said enough is enough. I ventured into social work, which is what is putting food on my table right now. So as you can see that my aspiration actually just to meet a particular goal, not necessarily money, though money is a factor. So, now, what is success? Success can be defined by so many people depending on their context. What is success to me may not be success to him. Yeah, some people will say getting married is success for them. For me, starting my own NGO, impacting lives, is my dream, is my goal, is my success. The moment I'm able to achieve that, that's success for me. So, but in some way, for many people, success means being able to take adequate care of yourself and your family, and eventually to settle down with a man or a woman whom you love. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think from my own perspective, I seem not to see a correlation between aspiration and success. Because I did a little bit of categorization here that aspiration can mean objective and success can mean attainment. And aspiration also can mean what ought to be, what you want, and success can be what is. Aspiration also can be what is preferable, and success can also mean what is available. So in that context, we will find out that what most of the youth, what we aspire to be, to become, is not eventually what we find ourselves successful in. After we finished our bachelor's degree in the University of Ibadan, I decided that I'm not going to attend the convocation ceremony because that is not what I consider a success. We enrolled for our master's degree, we completed with my colleague, also with my friend. I said I'm not going to attend the convocation because to me, that is not what I consider as a success. And then I enrolled for my PhD, and I said to myself that it is until I am able to earn that doctoral degree, that is when I am going to attend a convocation ceremony. Because to me, that is what I consider to have become successful as a student. So that understanding may not be for other people. And we cannot blame them. I've seen people throw a party for first degree, for HID, for NCE, for master's. It's not a problem at all. What we all consider as what is success is fluid. We cannot have a universal definition for it. So as you think this is your success, another person will say this is his own success. And lastly, I want to contest the idea that define success only within the context of money. As I was coming from Lagos yesterday, we had a kind of stopover somewhere, and a guy was telling us, we had an argument along the line, and a biker was telling the driver in Yoruba language that if I can kill you, I can go to the prison and I will come back. So there's such a person that you begin to wonder, what is his own aspiration? What is his own success? Does that aspiration align with your own aspiration? And what he considers as success, that is going and coming out in and out of the prison, will that also be your own? Will that be your own success? So it is something that needs to be domesticated, needs to be localized, if indeed we will find out what exactly is best people's aspirations and their successes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. During the presentation, I noted one of the findings as regards the aspiration of young people in Nigeria. And I think I totally agree with that. Okay, let me read what I wrote down. Topmost youth aspiration is sufficient money, via good job or good business to meet life's basic needs for themselves and their family members and their communities. I think to a very large extent, this reflects, it's a reflection of what the aspiration of most young people are.
Dignified and fulfilling work. Youth perspectives on dignified and fulfilling work. What is dignified and fulfilling work? You guys have been hinting at it from what you have been saying. Please, they're saying we have to interact with the others, so we have to speed it up. Can we start from her this time around and let it go?
So you're looking at family values. You're looking at if I get a job now, for instance, it must be a job that gives me room to train my children. That gives me the kind of job that will give me that pays me well, because that's also important. Even as much as I'm talking about, there should be that balance anyways. So I'm considering my children. I'm considering instilling the right values in them, because no matter what you are earning, if you have a problematic child, you will not have rest. You will not even be able to concentrate concentrate on whatever career they think they want to build. So I'm saying to myself, I want a job for a period of years that will allow me to raise my children. At least I'm looking at the first like 8 years, 10 years of my marital life. I want to have time for my children.
So what I'm going to do, please, dignified and fulfilling work is what to you?
Anyway, dignified and fulfilling work is what gives security of life to me. And that security of life conflicts job security. Because job security only means that you can predict the future of your job. What you get from that job in terms of remuneration may not may not be sufficient enough to secure your life. And then I think, and that explains the frequency of japa, these days. Because most people in Nigeria, and I want to say in Africa, they are japaing today, not because they don't have job security.
Japaing, like they are relocated.
Yeah, they are relocating. They are relocating to foreign land. Not because they don't have job security. Many of them are working as public servants in reputable organizations. But because they realize that job security does not translate to security of their life. So for me, I think what I have considered as fulfilled and dignified work is that job that can secure my life, even though I want the job to be secure. But I want that job security, that reputation, that honor, and all of those virtues that have been listed here to be capable enough to translate into security of life. And when I say security of life, I'm looking at it from the point of view of economy. The remuneration, how far. Because, for example, I have a wife, I have a child, I have a house in Lagos where I pay rent about 700-something thousand per year, and then I have another one in that. Because, so again, if at the end of the day, at the end of the year, my salary and some other things that I should get from my place of work does not commensurate and correspond with what I aspire in life, there will definitely going to be a problem. And I think it's on that point that people change from dignified labor to undignified labor. Not just because of anything, just because they want a security of their life. Thank you very much.
Can you hold on, please? So you're telling me now that if people don't find fulfillment in dignified labor, some of them move among the youths to undignified
to pollution and the rest of it.
So we have youths that are into pollution, cybercrime, and prostitution. Thank you. We're going to move forward, and three of you that just answered this for me, not about dignified, we're talking about resilience, adaptability, and constraints of youth. What are the constraints they face when they are trying to achieve dignified and fulfilling work? And simply briefly, so that we can move to the audience.
There are so many barriers, and I remember telling my sister that when we first held the first edition of this program, I remember telling you that we spoke about government policies. And there is nothing we can do if we don't get our policies right. We won't achieve any success of that. And I will paint a very sad scenario of what is currently happening in Nigeria right now. Earlier this year, in preparation for election, the CBN came up with a bizarre policy. they did not put into consideration a lot of stuff. And the aftermath of it was that many young people lost jobs, many young businesses, SMEs collapsed. Until now, many of them are yet, in fact, more than 80% of them are yet to recover. If I use my own, everybody can easily relate to POS business. So, it's affected a lot of stuff. So, government policies is a big barrier to that fulfilling and sufficient job. Thank you.
Government policy is one of the barriers to dignified and fulfilling work.
Thank you very much. I think that with respect to resilience, our resilience as young people in Nigeria seems to be two-way traffic. It could be an indication of strength, and it could also be an indication of our long-suffering attitude. Because no matter how bad government policies are, you will still see pro bono defenders in chief. And you know, for our resilience, it's just like an allegory that somebody painted about the frog, and the allegory of the frog and the hot water. When the temperature increases, it adapts. When it continues to increase, it adjusts. But eventually, the frog will lose it. To borrow the country of Nigeria's president, the frog will die eventually. So our resilience is with traffic. Yes, it's an indication of how strong we are, that we can overcome all challenges. But again, if we do not have such level of resilience, we might have had a disruption, bloodless revolution that would probably have changed the course of things. But you know, for us to have, rather than for us to have that, we continue to say it will still be well, it shall be well, it will get better. So yes, our resilience is good. We must commend positive resilience that enables people to, you know, meander their way through all of the challenges of life. But we must also condemn what I call the negative resilience that has made all of us laid back and, you know, unable to fight all of the people who have held us prostrate and even who have even paralyzed most of our.
So you feel that we have something that you consider negative resilience?
Yes, I believe there is negative resilience, and I think that it's a cultural thing. We are all used to the KBAC system of life where we don't want to disturb the undisturbed, and we just want, you know, things to go the way they have always been. And so we may need to, you know,
have a look at that.
Have a look at that.
Thank you. They have to move. I'll speak briefly, and I'll be handing over to someone else.
Okay. What I'll consider a barrier to dignified and fulfilling work is something very, very different from what everybody has said. Because I definitely agree with what they have said. But something else I think with regards to the youth per se, I think it is peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
I run a business and that needs staff. And sometimes to get people to even work with me, to come and learn the trade, to come and work, is, oh my God, is a lot. To come and make it, before you find somebody that will really stay, oh my, it's a lot of work to get anybody. Because they want a soft life. They are seen in their other peers that are doing illegitimate work. Why should I come and work for you? You will give me 30,000 naira when I can just go online and make $1,000. Please. Why? So all those things actually remove all these government policy. When I see that you are making money easier, even if it's not a good way, but you say I can sleep with this guy and you give me money, you give me 50K, one night, I beg. It's an easier option. I think the need for soft life, the need to make everything fast. Why should a 16-year-old want to buy a car? Like why? Some 30-year-olds don't even have one, but you at 15, you're already feeling pressurized. So I think there is an issue somewhere.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure is really
the barrier to
the barrier.
dignified and fulfilling work.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. So we are through with our panel discussion, and can you please clap for the panelists? Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, panelists. Thank you so much. Can we give a round of applause?